I'm with Renato Tranquilino, who is a father of one, works in a computer support position, and by night he's a science fiction author. The reason that we're making this video is that Renato's done some pretty incredible things, and one of them is he's writing a trilogy of sci-fi books. So there's a prequel, and there's the first in the trilogy, which we'll talk about now, and then there will be another two. But actually, before we talk about these, you have been invited to present the science fiction section of Filipino Literature at the Frankfurt Book Festival, haven't you?
Correct, yeah.
That's in Germany.
Yeah, it's a great honor. It's been a great honor, certainly. Many thanks to NBDB, NCAA, and also, I guess, the Department of Foreign Affairs, because they're the ones that actually put together this grant. Like for us,
so you got a grant to do that, and you'll be presenting your trilogy, your 1/3 written trilogy, at the Frankfurt Book Festival. And you were saying it's the biggest book festival in the world.
Correct. Yeah, it has been for 27 years, and the Philippines has been a member for 27 years, but this is the only time that they're going to be the guest of honor. So it's
the
really
Philippines
a big
is the
deal.
guest of honor this year.
Yeah, so it's like the Philippines is spending a lot of money to like, I guess, present all Philippine literature in this one block of building that is ours for to showcase everything there is Filipino.
Right, that's fantastic. Renato's writing a trilogy. This is the first in the trilogy, but before that there's a prequel, and this is Fate of a Distant Future. This is the first. This is the prequel to the trilogy.
Correct.
And so, how does it work? What does this book explain to us?
Fate of a Distant Future talks about how the Philippines rises from the rubble because it experiences the big one, which is the big earthquake.
So there's a big earthquake that just flattens
destroys Manila.
Right.
So then from there, they had to rebuild it, and then eventually they created these spaceports to try and get off the planet so that they could be...
This, by the way, is set in 2500.
Year 2005, and going right up to 5000. Year 5000.
Oh, okay.
so there you go. So it's like in those times, it's like the Philippines has struggled to become like a first world country until finally they made a break around about the year 5000. But in doing so, they had to break a lot of rules. And the United Nations were not very happy about that.
Okay, so the Philippines has been a bit maverick in trying to
there
sort of leapfrog over all the restrictions that have been placed on them to colonize a planet,
distant planet,
to get the resources. Right, and so they're successful in doing that.
Correct.
So that, in a nutshell, is the Fate of a Distant Future. It's a very slim novel.
Easy to read. Yep.
This one is a bit bigger, a bit more substantial, and this is the Culling in Proxima. So this is when this picks up when the Filipinos have colonized this distant planet. I was just talking to Renato about blood and violence and so on, and apparently lots of assassinations in this one, political intrigue and assassinations, and then lots and lots of fighting and violence in this one.
Okay, it's a little like if you know Philippine history, how the conquistadors came here and took over resources and everything. It's a little bit like what we're doing here.
Right, so it's history repeating itself.
Yes.
With the oppressed becoming the oppressor.
Yep.
Right.
And I've always believed that history repeats itself.
It does seem to, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's like it is really. So that's why I always tell people, like, if we have problems now, it's better to fix them whilst we're here on Earth, because once you go off, it's going to be worse.
All right, we're heading off now, but just before we do go, can you tell everybody where they can actually buy these books?
Okay, so you can get them from Shopee, you can get them from Amazon, and you can also get them from Ingram Sparks. So there you have it.
Okay, so you can just go to Shopee.
Yeah. And look for the title.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is put the titles of the books in the description. I'm also going to put where you can get them and how you can get them, and hopefully put in a couple of links.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for taking the time.
When actually do you go to Frankfurt?
Around October 15 to 19.
October this year?
This year.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right, so it's a little way away.
Yeah.
But that'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, quite, yeah. So after 27 years, it's a real honor to be part of the Philippine delegate.
Yeah, it is an honor. Yeah, that's fantastic. All right, well, thanks, Renato.
Thank you, mate. Yeah.
It's the following day, and I've come to Cabal to interview Renato Tranquilino's literary agent. And we're going to talk to him about all things Filipino literature, especially sci-fi. So I'm here at Mary Grace in Gateway Mall, waiting for Anthony, who's going to give us the lowdown on Filipino science fiction literature and the state of it internationally. My meeting seems to be a no-show, but I'll see if I can get some information to fill in the rest of this vlog. Well, hang on, hold the phone, because I was sitting in the wrong Mary Grace. And so I finally found Anthony, who's Renato's literary agent, and I'm very glad of that. And it's nice to meet you, Anthony.
Hi, Marshall. Nice to meet you also.
Now, I just want to ask Anthony just a couple of questions to enlighten us as to what's going on with Renato and what's going on in the world of literature as well. So, Renato is going to be presenting the Philippine Sci Fi section at the Frankfurt Book Fair, and the Philippines is going to be the guest of honour. But what's the Frankfurt Book Fair, and is it a big deal?
Well, the Frankfurt Book Fair is the biggest, so far it's the biggest book fair in terms of rights trading in the world, and it attracts a lot of publishers from all over the world, from Asia, from Africa, from North America, South America, Europe, and also you have the big 5 publishers there present, like Penguin Random House, Hachette, and Simon & Schuster.
Is there a lot of deal making going on at the festival?
Of course, that's why people are there to make deals for their books to be either to be published outside of their home country or to be translated into another language. And of course, there's always hope that the big publishers, the big 5, will be picking up their titles.
Yeah. With the Frankfurt Book Fair, are there representatives there from film and television and streaming services?
Yes, aside from the big publishers, you also have big production companies present at the Frankfurt Book Fair. We're looking for materials that can be adapted into movie or probably into TV series on Netflix and other streaming services.
So there must be lots of schmoozing going on. Are you going to bars and things and trying to meet people and elevator pitches and things like that?
Yeah, of course. What I want to do is that for Renato to be on stage at some of his stages in Frankfurt, for him to talk about Philippine science fiction and the brand of science fiction that we have in Southeast Asia and in the Philippines. So it's quite different from what you see in North America and Europe, since we blend science fiction with religion and with mythology. So it's quite different from the science fiction you know.
Right. So do you think that point of difference could make a difference?
Of course. So we're trying to sell our science fiction as a different brand of science fiction, the one that mixes religion into technology, and I think that's very interesting. And for me, that's interesting, and I hope that the other publishers will also find that very interesting.
It sounds quite unique. You're attending the festival, that's correct? Yeah, so Anthony will be there. What, I don't know if this is a fair question, but what are you hoping for in terms of Renato?
Well, I'm hoping for Renato to be published in the US and in Europe and in probably UK also, those English-speaking countries. And what's interesting about Renato's book is that it's not just a one-shot book, it's a series, and one story, one book jumps to another, and it's quite fantastic since you have Renato is also planning a series of 6 books all in all.
Right.
So it's like the Harry Potter series.
Oh, right. I was thinking after my interview with Renato that the book is actually written in English as far as I've seen. Is it available in Tagalog?
As of now, it's not yet available in Tagalog, but I know Renato applied for a grant from the government for it to be translated to Tagalog. Incidentally, what you should know about the Philippines is that most of her books, like 70% of her books, are published in English, and the remaining 30% are published in Tagalog or Filipino.
So if 70% of books are written in English and published and bought and read in English, what about movies?
Well, most of our movies here are in Tagalog or Filipino, and about only 1% are in English. If you do a movie in English, that's going to be a flop.
So people prefer to read books in English here in the Philippines, but they vastly prefer to watch movies in Tagalog. Well, thank you, Anthony, for meeting with me. And I know the Frankfurt Book Fair isn't happening until October, but good luck there.
Thank you very much also, Marshall, for this opportunity. The Frankfurt Book Fair will be happening on October 15 to 19, and we're very much hopeful that Philippine science fiction will make it worldwide.
And don't forget that in the description box down below, I've got all of the links that you need if you want to buy a copy of one of Renato Tranquilino's books. And there might be some other interesting information down there, like social media links and that sort of thing.